Hey there, Nick Janatakis here. In this video, we're going to go over this Vim error that we see here in the bottom left, which is good old error 464, ambiguous use of user-defined command. Now, this is an error that I've been battling for about a month now, and I finally figured out what the cause was. And by the way, if you're using my .dot files, you're never going to get this error because it was related to me making a local change to my vimrc file that I didn't commit. So let's kind of just go over, what this error is, like how it gets triggered, what you can do to actually fix it. And yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. And before we get into that, I just want to let you know like what it was related to. So for me, it was actually running the capital W command, which if you're using my .dot files in my vimrc file, well, I can actually show you this. So if I'm using FCF here, by the way, to look at all of my commits. If I actually try to narrow this down to, I think it's like, how do you pronounce this one? Unic, maybe? It's that one plugin from tpope, Vim Unic. It is in my .dot files here, in my vimrc file. But part of what this plugin does is it creates this command for you, the capital W command, and it just maps it to the write command. So basically what it allows you to do is to write your files with a capital W instead of a lowercase w. That's a fantastic thing because when you're typing in the real world, sometimes you just happen to have the shift key down when you want to write a file, and if that command isn't there, then, Vim just won't do anything, but, typically you want that to actually write the file. So if I go back to that list of commands here for Unic or whatever, and we go over here, notice how when I installed this plugin, I removed this command that was previously in my vimrc file. Now, this command will work without any plugins at all. If this were in your vimrc file and you didn't have the Unic plugin, then you can just, map this command to write so that you can get this functionality without a plugin. However, this plugin does a bit more than just that, which is why I had it installed. But for a while, locally, I did not commit a change that I had to my vimrc file, and, I didn't push it up to GitHub, where I did remove the Unic plugin because I wasn't really using it that often. I was basically just using it to like chmod files because typically for like moving and creating files, I'm pretty happy using nerdtree for that. And by the way, they did fix that bug with nerdtree where now it actually gives you back the syntax highlighting after you remove a file. But anyways, what happened was I forgot to put that one command back in my vimrc file. So every time I hit capital W like that, instead of writing the file, I'm just going to trigger the error here, I would get this error, ambiguous use of user-defined command. Now, if you try to like mentally parse what these words mean, it sort of kind of makes sense, like ambiguous use of user-defined command. So that means that you as the user defined some command, and Vim is saying that it's ambiguous because when you try to run something like capital A here, like Vim doesn't know what that means because one, the command capital A isn't defined, but if you actually get a list of all the commands that do start with A, you'll find a lot of them. So here's like the secret sauce to debugging this type of problem. If you actually type in verb command and then the command that you want to research, then you will just get a complete list of all the commands that are available that start with that letter. It doesn't need to be one letter. You can always search for multiple letters if you want, or the entire command, it's up to you. But in this case, you can see here we ran verb command A, and there's 3 different commands here. And what's really nice about this output is we can actually see who is setting this type of command. So we can see that there's one plugin here called Tabular, which I believe is like a dependency for the Markdown preview one to display like Markdown tables or something like that. And this other one here for FCF, we're using, the Silver Searcher, the AG command. But you'll notice that there is no command here that's defined for A itself. So Vim is like, cool story, man. Like, I'm going to throw an error 464 because I don't know what to do. It's ambiguous. So you'd have to narrow down your command. But if we run the same command here, verb commands on the W, notice here that we actually do have a command here that is capital W, and that's why we're able to run this now. And in this case, this capital W is being defined by the Unic plugin, but if it were not, and we just had that command in our vimrc file instead, it would still work all the same and it would be defined here. It just wouldn't be set from this plugin. I don't know exactly what the output would be in that case. It'll probably say like last set from like your vimrc file. Perhaps, that's just something you don't need to really worry too much about. But in this case, like, yeah, if you're using my .dot files, you wouldn't have gotten that error because it was a local change in my end. But, I'm getting ready to start recording videos for my next course, and I'm actually actively developing stuff pretty much every day. And I was getting that error for, a couple weeks now. And it was really tricky to narrow it down. Eventually I figured out it was due to the capital W. And then, I put 2 and 2 together, and here we are. So that's why I made this video, because you may end up coming across this video in the future. And, this type of video is something I wish I found, so I didn't have to do all the research myself. So on that note, I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments how it goes. If you've gotten this error before on a different command. And, if you liked the video, please drop it a like. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.